Primed and ready to go ahead of the first FIA Formula E race here in London. Buemi on pole, that man Di Grassi second in the championship, third on the grid. Nelson Piquet, the man leading the championship, fourth on the grid. Dario, what were your assessments of what the grid's like?
Yeah, the atmosphere down there was absolutely fantastic. Very, very busy, as you saw, and all the different people that have been interviewed. Slightly worried about Piquet's mindset. He's a little bit too defensive for me. He's attacked all season. It's worked well for him. He's a little bit too defensive. That might bite him today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the next 29 laps. We can now hear from Sir Patrick Head, one of the legends of Formula One, the former Williams man. He's talking to Nicky. So we will pick up with Sir Patrick Head once we manage to get the audio from that. But it would be great to hear from him. It's fantastic to see him here. Knighted only a week or two ago, wasn't he? And it was fantastic to see him here. Of course, Williams Advanced Engineering create the batteries for these cars, so they have a good amount to say. There you can see some of the fans in the grandstands watching over.
From my point of view, well-deserved knighthood. I mean, obviously, Sir Frank Williams and him and Patrick, total partners. Great to see him here.
So now let's see if we can hear from Patrick Head. Nicky caught up with him a few moments ago.
Sir Patrick Head, honoured to have you here on the Formula E grid. What do you make of all of this?
Well, I'm just amazed at how narrow it is, but obviously there's a lot of attention. I think it's fantastic to have a race so close to the centre of London, and I hope it's the first of many. Very interesting event, very interesting championship.
And have you been eyeing up the cars? What do you think of the design?
Interesting. Hey, John. Very, very interesting, and Williams are involved with the battery power pack anyway, so I have interest in it from that point of view. But no, very interesting new championship, and I hope it goes on to great success.
You've got the insider knowledge.
Yeah, but it's anyway, it's going to be a very good race, very close for the championship at the end, so looking forward to watching it.
Lovely, thank you so much.
Fantastic to see Patrick Head here, and as I was saying a moment ago, fantastic to see so many fans here as well. It's pretty much a sellout here this weekend, certainly in terms of the public general admission, and this is a view then. You've got Secret Service there on the left, you've got the Vauxhall Tower on the left as well as we wind around the river heading westwards. Battersea Power Station there straight in front of us, the iconic Battersea Power Station. A lot of redevelopment going along in that area, and then that big green bit on the left, that is Battersea Park. That is where we're racing. That's how far away we are from the centre of London. It's absolutely phenomenal. On the right-hand side, as we look at it, is Chelsea. I think you can just about see Earl's Court there on the right-hand side as well. Fantastic location for a race, and as you can see from the lights, less than 4 minutes now till we get this race underway. It will be starting behind the safety car because of the start of the track. It's going to be a very interesting race, no doubt about that, here in London.
You know, with passing at such a premium round, such a very tight, challenging track, somebody's going to have to be very confident of a move, or very, very aggressive, and which will it be, and that will determine, I think, how many safety cars, if any, we have today, and the nature of this race.
Sebastian Buemi looking focused ahead of him, starting on pole position here in London. London's 43-year drought without a race is about to be ended here in London. Not since Crystal Palace hosted a Formula 2 race in 1972 has there been action in the capital of England. But that is about to change in just 3 minutes' time in the FIA Formula E Championship. Round 10 of 11, and we've got a championship battle that is going down to the wire. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary box is Dario Franchitti. We've got Nicky Shields down in the pit lane looking over this Battersea Park circuit. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see them racing around here. A narrow track, a tight track, a demanding track, and we are really looking forward to getting the action underway. On pole position, on the left-hand side, is Sebastian Buemi. An incredible qualifying performance from him. 4.5 tenths of a second clear of the rest of the field. Second on the grid is the man who won the race in Berlin. He only won it after Lucas Di Grassi was disqualified, and he's looking to win one on the road for the first time. Third in the grid is the man who is second in the championship. Lucas de Grassi is 17 points off Nelson Piquet at the top, and Piquet is going to be starting right behind him on the grid in fourth position. You couldn't have written the grid any better if you were planning it out. Fifth on the grid, Jean-Eric Vergne. Seriously frustrated with how he performed in qualifying. He only managed fifth on the grid, made a mistake all by himself down at turn 8, and it was a real challenge for him. Sixth on the grid will be Nico Prost, the man who started the year so well, resumes and finishes the championship not in title contention. Seventh on the grid, and with a fan boost, Oliver Turvey making his debut. Wonderful qualifying for him to be in seventh place. Then you've got on 8th on the grid, Bruno Senna. Good performance from him, best qualifying in a while for the Mahindra team. 9th on the grid, another Englishman, Sam Bird, so the two English drivers starting nose to tail pretty much on the grid. Completing the top 10, another good qualifying performance from Salvador Duran in the Amlin Aguri squad. He's come on leaps and bounds since joining the championship in South America earlier on this year. 11th on the grid, Loic Duval. He will be frustrated to see his teammate up in second. Duval had the pace, couldn't quite hook it all together come the qualifying. Nick Heidfeld will be starting 12th for Venturi. And 13th on the grid will be Daniel Abt, and he's going to have to work his way up the order if Abt have any chance of stopping e.dams wrapping up the title today. Stefan Sarazan, 14th on the grid on the right-hand side there, and he was held up in qualifying, really frustrated. Karun Chandok crashed in qualifying, even more frustrated, he'll be 15th. Then we get towards our debutants. Simona de Silvestro will start in 16th on the grid for the Andretti team. 17th on the grid, Japanese racer Sakon Yamamoto. He's also got the fan boost. He's going to be there for Amlin Aguri. 18th on the grid is going to be Alex Fontana, a new Swiss-Greek driver for the Trulli team. He's on the right-hand side. And then we've got Fabio Lima, another debutant, 19th on the grid. And at the back of the grid is Jarno Trulli, because he got a 5-place grid penalty for making up his own circuit design in Moscow. So that is how the grid is going to line up, and they pull away now behind the safety car because the first corner here is so narrow that they decided it's not safe to go 2x2 down towards turn 1. So it'll be a safety car start, and the race has now officially started, but when the safety car pulls in at the end of this lap, that is when we will go racing. We are on lap 1 of 29, so they will be going at a reasonable pace behind the safety car. They're not going to be crawling around like we saw on the warm-up lap in Beijing all those months ago. Yeah, this is an absolute necessity. They showed up this morning, they'd done a track walk, and several track walks in fact, but the bump was just too big in turn 1, and they had to make this change. And for actually just driving the track, it's not that big a deal, but for racing, it's just too narrow. So a really unfortunate set of circumstances here, and I think they've done the only thing they could do, unless they were going to move the start to another straight or something. But once the green flag goes, I still think turn 3 is going to be pretty interesting on that first lap. It certainly is, because the cars will be absolutely nose to tail. So this is the start of the race. We're on lap 1 of 29, but effectively we're going to get a 28-lap race because the safety car will pull in at the end of this lap on board with Lucas de Grassi, the man who is in 3rd place. They've got to be doing everything they can here to save a little bit of energy. It is a very long track by Formula E standards, and so anything you can do to save a little bit of power, usable power there, is going to just help you towards the end of your stint, and maybe even open up an extra lap and some time of different strategy. I don't see anybody doing an extra lap today simply because you'd have to save so much energy to make that one extra lap. Now the pit in is quite early on, it's well before the last corner, so we'll see when Sebastian Buemi starts to peel them in and slow them down and get ready for the start of this race. As we say, for the rest of the race, turn 1 will be absolutely fine. Not wide enough to pass him, but you can go through there flat out, no problem. As they come through this long left-hander at turn 13 now. That's Rosary Gate, down into the final chicane on the course. So up at the front, it's Sebastian Buemi. The safety car pulls into the pits, and we go green in London. Buemi has gone very, very early before he even gets to the final corner, and the racing gets underway. Sebastian Buemi holds the lead of the race and caught everyone else really a little bit unawares. He did. He went early there. He went as early as he was possibly allowed. Jean-Eric Vergne fairly close to Piquet here, but not close enough to make a move. Certainly not through turn 1. So through they come then to start racing proper.
how bumpy it is down that first straight there. We're going to talk about bumps all day here. We have all season with street courses. This one brings the bumps to an absolutely new level. Anybody that's driven on British roads will know what we're talking about. Look how much of the curb they're using there, though.
Yeah, so the racing is underway. This is through the chicane at 6 and 7. Then they come out onto a little stretch before the run up to Sungate. A tight, left-handed 90-degree corner at turn 8.
Well, you see the cars appear there. There's a massive crown in the road. You can't really see it, and it's so difficult for the guys to brake over there across that crown. And that's where you'll see some people locking the rears and locking the fronts as well as they approach that turn 8.
So Buemi leads, D'Ambrosio second, De Grassi third, Piquet and Verne the top 5. The order is as it was at the start of the race. No one making any moves just yet. And someone dropping back there. That's Loic Duval is dropping back from the back of Salvador Duran in 10th place. And you've got Daniel Abt further back.
Look at the wake that the car creates. You see the trees moving a bit above the track. Something to think about. The leaves that are falling down there, they're going to get caught in the radiators and the inlets of these cars, which is going to create a challenge for just managing the temperature. We all know the electric motor. If it gets hot, it goes into a sort of fail-safe mode.
So the top 4 covered by just 2.7 seconds at the end of lap 2. They come down into the first turn again, the quick left-hander. Watch out for Jean-Eric Verne trying to make progress, and also keep an eye on these battery energy levels, because Nelson Piquet is pushing hard, I think, in these opening stages. We're on board with him now. He wants to get past Lucas de Grassi in front of him as they run up towards these 2 series of chicanes here. This next one pretty much flat out.
The Piquet, the car we're riding on here, is actually used a little more usable power than the car in front. That's unlike him. So he's clearly, as you say, Jack, pushing hard here, trying to make something happen, trying to get to the front and then manage it from there.
He also has the fan boost, Nelson Piquet Jr., which will give him an extra 30 kilowatts of power in a straight line for 5 seconds. Well, doesn't have to use it in a straight line, but
this is a place to use it if you were going to use it.
He's going to use it now. Nelson Piquet attacking Lucas de Grassi. De Grassi covers the inside line. There's going to be a left-hand chicane coming up now. Is Piquet going to get through? They touch. Piquet's off. De Grassi holds the position. Piquet has to skip across the runoff. Stephen Liu shakes his head, and Jean-Eric Verne's gone through. Wow. Verne's getting past as well. He's easy on the outside at turn 13. What a move from Jean-Eric Verne if he can pull this one off, and he can. He's got the inside line. Piquet has to back out of it. Disaster for the championship leader. He went for it. He put himself on the outside. De Grassi didn't let him through.
And Verne has nothing to lose there, and Piquet's got a discretion, better part of valor. He's got to just back off, because otherwise he's going to end up at the losing end of that.
We could see him lining it up. We knew it was coming. De Grassi knew it too. So that means Verne is now up into 4th place. Piquet drops down to 5th.
With all that contact there going into turn 11-12, he's lucky the car's still in one piece and he's still going.
Yeah, but that is going to be a very annoyed Nelson Piquet Jr., I'd imagine. Jean-Eric Verne has now done the fastest, on that last lap he did the fastest first sector of anyone. That's how he got right up to the back of the cars in front. Let's look at it again. He's on the outside coming down into the chicane, which you're never going to be able to do it, are you?
No, it's a tough one, even with that speed advantage. But Nelson started to come across and trying to crowd Lucas, and Lucas was having none of it. These guys, I don't think they're big dinner buddies, to be honest. And this again here, watch Nelson start to crowd him because he knows he's in trouble. And then once Nelson starts to crowd him, Lucas just does the same back to him. And well, I'm surprised we've got 2 cars pointing in the right direction. And look at that. Great. That was a big move by Jean-Eric Verne, round the outside in 13th. And Nelson's got to give up there, because otherwise it's all over.
Yep, lucky that Nico Prost didn't get past as well. There's Jerome D'Ambrosio in 2nd place then. Our race leader is Sebastian Buemi, there in the e.dams car, coming down into the Millennium chicane. The little right and left that goes past the Millennium Park and athletics track on the right-hand side. So he's building up a comfortable advantage, 1.8 seconds clear now. So that was some early excitement for Nelson Piquet and Lucas de Grassi, and Piquet is the one who's come off worse at the moment. And that is going to harm his championship advantage by losing that position. You also get 2 points for fastest lap in this race as well.
7 points between 1st and 2nd, correct? 25 and 18.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, Buemi's he's looking quite good right now.
He's looking strong. He'd close in the gap to Piquet quite considerably. So they flash through now the second part of that. And look at Jean-Eric Verne, actually. Jean-Eric Verne's pushing and is now right up behind Lucas de Grassi in the battle over 3rd position. as you say, Verne's got nothing to lose. He can push as hard as he wants. There's Heidfeld, Daniel Abt, Stefan Sarazan. That 5 of 29. And hopefully it's going to be just as entertaining as the opening 5 laps. Just look how close Jean-Eric Verne is here.
You know, at this point, Piquet's going to be starting to feel a little pressure. He was in the driving seat this morning, excuse the pun, but now he's, you know, Buemi is out there in the lead, got a 2.3 second lead, and he's in the position of controlling the race right now. Piquet's, you know, he's not going to lose the lead in this race, but he's going to certainly, if things continue the way they are, that lead's going to shrink, and it's going to put Buemi within striking distance tomorrow.
Down towards the final corner they come at Chelsea Gate. Over the line and down the start-finish straight again. There's Buemi, race leader. D'Ambrosio second. Third is Lucas Di Grassi, and he's got Jean-Eric Verne just half a second behind him as they come down towards turn 1. God, they throw it in there, don't they, when they're going nose to tail. Spectacular stuff. A little feint towards the inside line from Jean-Eric Verne. Verne's really got this car hooked up.
He carried a lot more speed through 1 there, which set him up to get close into 3, but he's just, he cannot, I don't think, make the pass into 3. That, the area we saw there, the 9, 10, 11, 12 area, was where it looks to be where it's going to happen.
He very close coming into turn 8, the left-hander at Sungate, and now they come into the Lake Chicanes. That's where it all kind of happens through the first one. Look how much they go up on the rear there. Verne's dropped back a little bit.
Yeah, just did that bump there between 8 and 9, you get a little bit airborne. And it makes it a bit interesting.
Fantastic stuff. You can see that they're using similar amounts of power at the moment, so Verne is just hooking it up a bit more. Verne's got less energy available, but in terms of their actual power output in kilowatts, they're running at a similar level.
What you've got to be careful of here is you don't just miss a lap by a corner or so with the power. You know what I mean? You've got to make sure you get on that same lap as everybody else to pit. If you miss it by 1 lap, you're really putting yourself up against it on the second for the second car.
So down they come into the left-hander at Chelsea Gate once more to complete lap 6. That's Verne and Di Grassi's radio that we've got. Both of them faded up as they flash into the first turn. Piquet Jr. is dropping back a little bit now. 57% of energy remaining as well. So I thought Piquet might have gone into super conservative mode now that he's dropped back. That might be the way he'd approach it, but he's got the least amount of usable energy compared to anyone.
And he has used his fan boost.
Yep.
And he's dropping back from Verne quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that.
Yeah, again.
Verne out of shape coming into Sungate. That could give... sorry, Di Grassi out of shape coming into Sungate. That could give Verne an opportunity as they bounce up towards the Lake Chicanes now, but again, still not quite close enough.
Well, I mean, Verne is filling Di Grassi's mirrors here, and Di Grassi knows, he's not a stupid boy. He knows for a fact that Verne is just, doesn't care. He has nothing to lose, and he's setting him up here for a move.
This is a good opportunity for Jean-Eric Verne. Looks to the outside, just like Nelson Piquet Jr. did, but that'll compromise Di Grassi's run in. Can Verne get it on the way out through the long left-hander at Rosary Gate? This is a great battle between them. I don't think he's quite going to have the pace this time around. Feints towards the inside line.
What a move!
Jean-Eric Verne goes through into 3rd place. Wonderful move from the Frenchman, and he's up into 4th past Di Grassi.
I was just about to say, a bit too far back for a lunge, but apparently not. Great job by Jean-Eric Verne.
Wow. You can't overtake on this circuit.
You can't,
no.
Nice move. Let's work on getting the Ambrosia.
So that's the team. That's the team radio, just saying.
Roger Griffiths there on the radio.
Yeah, good move. Get on with it. D'Ambrosio's in 2nd. You can close him down. Verne has used a lot of energy compared to the other drivers. You can see he's got 6% less than D'Ambrosio in front of him, but Piquet's on a similar level.
But I'll tell you what, right now, Jean-Eric Verne is the best friend of Sebastian Buemi and Lucas Di Grassi, having taken those points, sorry, of Piquet.
Do you think he meant to overtake here? Or did he just snatch the brakes and had to?
No, he was making the move, but then the brakes snatched. These brakes are comfortable at a certain amount of brake pressure, and then they lock very quickly, and that's what we just saw there, but he managed it well.
And that all started back at those chicanes.
Yep, and that was what Karun said on the track ride yesterday. If you're setting them up there, you can make them. You said it yourself. He's compromised his next exit. He did it and nailed it. There's a happy team there.
Yeah, absolutely. Roger Griffiths, the man in the middle there, is the one who would have come on the radio to Jean-Eric Vergne. So Buemi still leads this race, and if things stay like this, he'll just be 3 points behind Nelson Piquet at the top of the championship. So Piquet would still lead, and then Buemi would be 3 points behind in second place. He'll have hauled himself right back into contention going into the final race of the season. Jean-Eric Vergne, desperate to try and climb up the order. Still, he's gone purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2, which means he's setting the fastest sector times, and he now sets the fastest lap of the race and takes 0.6 of a second out of D'Ambrosio ahead of him in second position.
But he's got to watch his usable power. It's great doing that, but if it's the expense of using a lot more usable power than the guys around you, it's a false economy.
0.6 de marge. 0.6 de marge.
That might be one of the e.dams radios, because it's in French. We're on board with Nelson Piquet Jr. then. 5th place, and I mean, you did say on the grid you didn't feel too happy with how he was.
No, I just felt he was getting too defensive, as I said, and I spoke to a couple of guys in his team actually, and they said the same thing. They were a little concerned about it. But he has proved he can dig himself out of some holes, so yeah.
11.0.
So that's Piquet's team radio, and you can see here that actually this shows that he'll be 5 points behind Nelson Piquet at the top of the championship. So this is the points prediction that Nelson Piquet would be on 138, Buemi would be on 133.
You've got to say right now, Buemi's pace, you wouldn't bet against him scoring 5 more points tomorrow. I know this is predictions right now, you wouldn't bet against that happening, would you? And again, it's a bit of a worry. It's amazing how quickly these things can turn when the pressure's on, and I thought Nelson was looking nice and relaxed this morning, and he's just maybe gone into defensive mode. Maybe the car's not handling. What do we know back here?
Nothing. Very
I certainly don't.
So we're now on lap 10 of 29.
9.9.
And again, we're hearing some of the team radio.
Attention, la marge diminue.
Was that Buemi's the first one?
Prost and Piquet.
Was it Prost and Piquet? Prost is working hard in the car. He's breathing hard, his pulse rate's up. Whereas, Piquet sounded just nice and relaxed.
So Jean-Eric Vergne now is closing in rapidly on Jerome D'Ambrosio in front of him. Just 0.8 of a second behind now in the Andretti car is Jean-Eric Vergne. Dragon versus Andretti. Penske versus Andretti. And there is Sebastian Buemi leading the way, coming into the lake chicanes. You can see the lake there on the left-hand side as they come down towards the second one, and then through the really long left-hander.
Quite deceptive, the entry to this chicane, because you see a sort of a break in the wall, and the wall fades away. So it's actually deceptive where that corner is. It's a bit further down the road than you actually think. Then through this long turn 13, what a great corner that is. Braking for the bus stop here.
Buemi is leading the race and also has the most energy of anyone in the top 7. He is really hooked up this weekend. Sebastian Buemi really determined to take the title fight to Nelson Piquet. Fabio Lima there in 18th place for Virgin, you can see has munched through his energy.
Yeah, that's a rookie to the series right there, and that's part of it, is going quick while saving the energy, and it's something a lot of these guys have really mastered this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Down towards the left-hander. I think it was Karoon was saying after
look at the speed Vergne carries through turn 1. I would say that's probably where most of his lap time gain is, just in turn 1 with pure bravery.
6 or 7% less than the men in front of him, so he's on an all-out fight for track position.
Yep.
And then worry about saving the energy once you've got that track position.
And clearly that's the same plan that the team are on.
Saving the energy once you've got that track position.
And clearly that's the same plan that the team are on, because they didn't hold him back and say, okay, start saving energy. They said, go get him, go get the next one, which is great. It's great for us to hear.
Absolutely. But yeah, Karun Chandok said after a year of doing Formula E, he went to Le Mans and was immediately just 5% more efficient. Without even thinking about it, he was saving 5% more fuel than normal, just because of the way he'd learned to drive.
I would totally agree with that. It's something that doesn't really come in with F1, certainly GP2, there's not too much of it. Whereas certainly Formula E is a big thing, IndyCar as well. You learn that from a very early age with the way, the size of the fuel tanks, the strategies of the races, and clearly in Formula E it's at an absolute premium, and you're seeing the results of it here.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating stuff as they flash through there.
Sam Bird's pretty close up behind Bruno Senna there.
Yeah, just half a second between them in the battle over 8th position. Now, to do a lap here, the estimations are you need about 6 to 8% of the reading you see on the left-hand side. In Moscow, it was about 6%, and but here it's a slightly longer track, and Verne is 6% down on Buemi and D'Ambrosio, so he may be planning on pitting a lap earlier.
And Nelson Piquet is right there with him,
yeah,
using that amount of energy, which is so unlike Nelson. So he must be struggling in there a little bit.
Yeah, this is really unlike Nelson Piquet, running in 5th place at the moment. So Buemi, D'Ambrosio, Verne, De Grassi, Piquet, the top 5. If it stays like this, the gap at the top of the championship will be cut down to just 5 points between Piquet at the top and Buemi in 2nd place. As we mentioned earlier, it's the battle for 2nd place between the two American squads, Dragon and Andretti. But that battle seems to have calmed down a little bit now. Whether Jean-Eric has been told, okay, you had a go at catching up to him, but now we've got to be sensible.
Yeah, he's still catching him a bit, but it might have reached that critical point where he's not going to make the same lap as the other guys, and it becomes a problem. You know, if you start saving from the start of a stint, that's one thing. If you suddenly told with 2 laps to go, by the way, you need to save us, yeah, it becomes an issue, and you've got not enough time to do it. Now, but Sam Bird all over the curbs there, and catching Bruno Senna.
Yeah, this is the battle over 8th position. Bruno Senna in the Mahindra. Oh, Sam Bird, I thought he was going to go for it there.
He thought, didn't he? He thought about it, and then and you can see Bruno knew that he thought about it, and a little jink to the right as well. So if you're going to make a pass here today, you're going to have to be so aggressive.
Yep, there's the Sambu spanners that are out in force at Sam's home E-Prix. Sebastian Buemi has just set the fastest lap of anyone by about half a second. Really good stuff from Buemi, so that really increases his... that's what takes it down to 3 points. So you remember earlier I said the gap would be 3 points. That was when Buemi had fastest lap. Then Verne took fastest lap, so it went to 5 points. But now Buemi has taken fastest lap again. The gap would be 3 points as it stands. So that gap is going to fluctuate as various people take the fastest lap, because you get 2 points for the fastest lap.
So if you're Piquet's team or De Grassi's team, do you send your teammates out and try and go for just for the fastest lap to take those points back off Buemi in the second half of the race? Well, Daniel App's 13th, for instance.
Yeah, that's very true. So it's the sort of thing that Nico Prost might be doing as well, in 18th position.
Only if... Yeah.
Now, Oliver Turvey's having a really strong race. I'm properly impressed with Turvey. He is just 2 seconds behind Nico Prost in front of him. His first ever time in the Formula E car this weekend.
And right there on, on power left, and usable power left. And, it's not... with usable power, we talk about it all the time. It gives us an indication, because, as we've said, it's easy to go quick and use power, but to go quick, it's essentially you're using more horsepower than other people. Yeah. But to go quick using the same or less power, that's when you really see who's doing the job right. And Oliver Turvey, first time in a Formula E race, and he's right there. Piquet is eating through the power today, though. Look at that.
This could be Piquet's final lap before he comes into the pit lane. This is the battle over 10th place. Salvador Duran is in that 10th place, the final points-paying position at the moment. And this is Bruno Senna battling with Sam Bird. Oh, and a branch comes down from the tree and gets obliterated. That was spectacular stuff. And Bird still chasing down Senna. That 14 of 29, so we're almost at the halfway mark. Piquet's coming in this lap, I reckon, because he's just set the fastest first sector of anyone.
He has to, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, that's true.
He really has to come in. He's up against it now.
But we're at the halfway point. He'll be coming in on lap 15 of 29. So, in general, it's not like he's pitted really early.
Plus, these guys did 2 laps. They did a sighting lap and actually 1 lap, sorry. They did the sighting lap before the race. Yeah. And they used some energy on that. Oh, here's all the teams lining up. Both next EV Team China guys out in the pit lane there.
Yeah, Turvey is coming in as well. Now, Piquet's only got 3% left. Where on the circuit is Nelson Piquet? He's just coming into the final chicane, so keep your eyes to the right here, and you'll see Piquet coming into the pits. We follow Buemi as he disappears off, but there goes Piquet into the pits, and so I think he would have got through just about with the right amount of energy remaining as he comes into the pit lane now. But Buemi continues to lead. This is a strong performance.
Yeah. Very, very strong. He's got Yamamoto on fan boost there.
Yep, in comes Sataka Yamamoto using his fan boost.
So he's coming in. He's coming next lap, isn't he?
Now he's got some clear air. He decides to use it, I think.
Yep. Here we go.
So in comes Nelson Piquet. So Werner's come in as well, as has Degrassi. So actually Piquet's kind of used his more efficiently because they had less than all the others, but they've all come in on the same lap. Fabio Lima's been in and out again. That's what the little C means next to Lima's name. That means he's changed his car.
Hopefully no mistakes in the pits today by any of the teams. We had the situation in Moscow where the e.dams team thought incorrectly the minimum pit stop time, and it caught them 10 seconds. Look at Piquet, look at those eyes, looking at the engineer.
Floors it, he's going to come out still behind Lucas Degrassi, and presumably up in front of that Jean-Eric Werner's left the pits as well. Yes, I think he has. He'll just be coming out of the pit lane now.
Such a tight exit, pit lane exit. You cannot believe. I was surprised how tight that pit lane exit is.
Yep, and they all go inside the 1 minute 19 pit stop time and resume the circuit. Now in comes race leader Sebastian Buemi. How many times do you think they will have checked over the steward's bulletin ahead of this one? Because last time out in Moscow, they didn't read the bulletin and thought the pit stop time was something completely different to what it was, and ended up waiting in the pits 9 seconds longer. Sam Bird now leads the race at his home E-Prix. D'Ambrosio's quite close, actually.
Yeah, he's done a good job there. He's done a good job sticking with it.
In they come. On board with Buemi as he parks up, and then the quick driver change.
Notice they keep the wheel in place in the second car. All the guys are doing that now. They've clearly developed a system, and they've looked and analysed the quicker teams doing it. And you know, a lot of these guys are used to doing driver changes, but obviously in Formula E this year, doing car changes for the first time. And you can watch each week teams get more comfortable with it.
Sakon Yamamoto has come into the pit, so it's just now the two Trulli cars and Sam Bird for Virgin, who are still out there on the circuit. So out comes Buemi, well in front of the Dragon car of Jerome D'Ambrosio. So this could be a change here for second place, because D'Ambrosio seems to have had quite a slow pit stop. We're on board with Lucas Degrassi, but out comes Buemi now. He hits the pit stop time. Now, how slow was D'Ambrosio? Identical. So he loses the back end coming out, but here comes Jean-Eric Werner in the Andretti on the left-hand side. D'Ambrosio chops across, holds on to that second place, but I wonder if
Sam Bird's going to be close to making it here.
He's got 2% of usable energy remaining, but I thought that it was a bit of a slow pit stop in the end for D'Ambrosio, but they nailed it. He must have just been really quick coming into the pits. Out comes Daniel Abt further back. He's going to come out side by side with Loic Duval. This is going to be a little bit fun.
Especially that yellow flag coming.
Exactly. Oliver Turvey's using his fan boost, and he's the man in the middle of this pack here, flying into the first corner. I think he used it to defend from the Venturi car that was coming out of the pits alongside him. So, and now he's attacking Daniel Abt up into the left-hander.
Well played, Turvey. Well, what a great pass there. Well done.
Good stuff from Oliver Turvey. He overtakes Daniel Abt, who he was in front of anyway. So did he have a slow pit stop, Oliver Turvey? Yes, 10 seconds too long, Oliver Turvey. So there must have been a problem in there for the Englishman, because he's come out of the pits 10 seconds further back from where he was. Oh, and Abt's running wide.
Twice. Has he got an issue with the right front? Has he hit the wall?
That allows Stefan Sarazan to get past him. He's going to hold the inside line, Daniel Abt. Sarazan comes across and covers it off. And now the Amelin car attacks to the outside. A bit of contact. Durant forces his way through, and they both just about make it past. But Daniel Abt must have picked up a problem, because he's gesticulating there, not happy with Salvador Durant.
Not going to help things, is it? Great pass by Durant. I mean, that was right round the outside. Here's Sam Bird.
Yep. Making his way out of the pits after he took the lead, lap 17 of 29.
Let's see here.
Everyone else pretty much nailed it except for Oliver Turvey, so...
20, yep. Sam was 1:23.
Slow stop actually for Sam Bird. 5 seconds slower than it should have been. And he's going to come out behind this battle. He was up behind Senna, who's just flashed through shot in front of us. So now it's Senna, Duval.
Oh, something's in the wall.
Oh, it's Daniel Abt. Daniel Abt has gone into the wall at the final turn. Daniel Abt in the wall at Chelsea Gate.
That's 3 times in one lap. Something must have happened to that car, because he went off in 3, off in 8.
Now then, you know what the time is. Safety car o'clock, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I would
it hasn't been announced yet, but it'd be surprising if we didn't get a safety car. Look at Heidfeld. This is a great corner.
Nick was rather on it there. Oh, Look at the Venturi boys just are ignoring the chicane.
Yeah, just doing their own thing. So Daniel Abt in the wall, out of the race. Real shame for the German.
Got to be a safety car where that car is, right?
You'd think so. He's still parked there in the wall, still shaking his head. As across the line there comes Jarno Trulli. And the Abt team really frustrated. And I think, at the moment, e.dams are going to wrap up the title because they've got Buemi in first place, Nico Prost in sixth. And you can see the yellow flag there at the final corner.
A little
Everyone having to avoid it.
Why the safety car hasn't been deployed yet.
Daniel Abt wants to go across the track back to the pit lane, but I don't think that's a sensible idea. Dan?
I'm not sure that'll be allowed.
And Sakon Yamamoto stuck at the pit exit. The Amlin car appears to have run into trouble on his way out of the pit lane.
Do a quick reset of the systems.
A power cycle is the technical way of safety car deployed. Safety car has been deployed. So, Daniel Abt, he was well deep here for no reason.
But it just didn't turn. It was a little deep, but it didn't turn.
But then it happened again on the next corner.
Yep.
Here,
and
battling with Stefan Sarazan.
That caused it. That running white caused this issue. So turn 8, running white 8 allowed the Amlin car to get alongside it.
And there was a bit of a touch here, so maybe some damage
wrong
came
side
in
of the
here.
car.
But there wasn't that much of a hit.
No.
But then this is the moment.
Yeah, locked him up.
Yeah.
Look how much understeer. There's something weird going on with the right front of that car.
No, there's no way that Abt would have made that many mistakes on one lap. So there's the Qualcomm safety car, waiting to pick up the leader. First safety car we've had since Monaco, I think. We went 2 races without it in Moscow and Berlin. And there is poor Daniel Abt. A real shame.
He's breathing heavily, isn't he?
Yeah.
The old adrenaline kicking in there.
So that means that e.dams go one step closer to wrapping up the team's title. They had a 47-point advantage, and there's only 48 points available to the teams tomorrow. So it's pretty much in the bag. So we've got the safety car out on circuit. The Qualcomm safety car picks up the leader, Sebastian Buemi. And that'll close it all in and will make it interesting, because these guys may now be much less energy limited for the remaining, well, when the safety car comes in, 9 or 10 laps. So here's a look at how the championship would stand if the race were to finish like this. It would be a 3-point gap between Piquet at the top and Buemi in second place. De Grassi would end up not quite being out of it, but a good 15 points back down the road. So he's not totally out of it, but really not the kind of result he'd want.
You've got to like Buemi's chances if that's what it ends up looking like today for tomorrow's race here in Battersea. You've got to, if I was Piquet and I had lost that kind of lead overnight, I would be a bit worried tomorrow.
Wouldn't come back tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'd definitely come back, but I have my tail between my legs a bit. So whatever's happening with the next EV Team China guys, they better figure it out.
What an entertaining race we're having in the FIA Formula E Championship, the final meeting of the season.
From a purely patriotic point of view there, with Sam Bird in P10, Oliver Turvey P11, they were having such good races, and both of them had long pit stops. A real shame.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for Oliver Turvey. So the top 5 cars, all their team radios are open.
From the start, correct?
That's...
Yeah, copy. I did adjust already, so I went on B3.
That's Oriol Serbia talking to Jerome.
Ambrosio.
Good man, dude. We're looking good, honestly. This could be a good end of the race. P8 right now, at the front they were a little bit hot fighting, so, you know, there could still be more yellows. I think it's looking good.
I think that's him talking to Loic Duval now as well, Oriol Serbia. As you said, you're P8 now. We've got all the top 5, we had all the top 5 team radios open. So let's now hear from Mark Schneider from the Abt team. Do they know what happened to Daniel Abt? Because it looked very strange. He's down in the garage while we're behind the Qualcomm safety car talking to Nicky Shields.
Mark Schneider, disappointing obviously for Daniel Abt. Do you know what actually happened? Was there damage to the car?
Well, Daniel's not back in the pits yet, but what he said on the radio, he's having a hard fight with some Amlin car and with his China car. That was a good battle. It was great for the spectators, but obviously something broke on his car, because he said the steering just went straight, so it was nothing he can do. So I surely believe it's not been his fault. But it's a shame. You're right. Yeah.
A big shame, and then obviously it slightly takes you out of contention for the team championship.
Yeah, but as you know, we're fighting for everything we can get. Team championship, driver championship. I mean, this weekend it's all or nothing. It's all in, as you say, in a poker game. So we fight until the very last lap.
And what do you think about de Grassi's progress at the moment?
Well, I think everybody saw the move when Nelson Piquet uses his fan booster after 2 or 3 laps, and the great defending of Lucas de Grassi. So these two Brazilians, they're really giving a great show to the public. So that's what people want to see.
Great, thanks very much.
He was right. It was very entertaining. I got very high pitched as ever, and but de Grassi held on to that place, and as a result, it's spicing up the championship nicely for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely right. He was very politically correct the way he did it. It's been those two good battle, and he's going to be disappointed with losing Daniel Abt. But Daniel's been quick all season, but he has been a magnet for trouble. A lot of it not of his own making.
There's the fan zone, and giving us a wave down there. Great to see so many fans out there watching on, and it really has been a successful event here in London so far. Anyway, I don't want to put the curses on it, but a great amount of spectators have come out here, and some great food out there as well. But anyway, that's a different story. 10 laps to go here in the FIA Formula E Championship, and it'll be 9 laps without the safety car, because the Qualcomm safety car will be coming in this time around. Now, we've got Alex Fontana in the middle there. I think he's one of our back markers. He's in
P18.
third in the train, the Swiss-Greek racer, former Formula 2 race winner, GP3 driver as well, with Genza Racing. Stepped into Trulli at the last minute. And Jean-Eric Verne is saying, go away or hurry up. I'm not quite sure what Verne's trying to get at. But
probably a bit of both.
So Nelson Piquet, of course, still has 1 fan boost remaining.
Now, Nelson was adjusting the brake balance there with his left hand. If you see him down there, he was adjusting because of the different temperature in the brakes and stuff like that. And the guys will be adjusting that all through that first and second laps.
Piquet needs to close in on these guys because the safety car is pulling in now. Well, this time, Buemi's tucked right up behind the safety car, and away they go, racing once again. Fontana gets straight out of the way. Good work from him, but that means that Jean-Eric Verne is not that close to Jerome D'Ambrosio in front. We're on board with de Grassi, down towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate, riding the curb on the left-hand side. 9 laps to go here in London. Buemi leads, D'Ambrosio second, third is Verne, fourth is de Grassi, fifth is Piquet. Piquet still has 1 fan boost left to use, though. That'll give him an extra power for 5 seconds, and that could be crucial in terms of the championship battle.
Yeah, the leaders here. Look how good that Andretti car is on the power out of the corner. It keeps gapping them out of the tighter corners there. Piquet's did close up there, lost it a bit in the middle of the corner, but closed up on Lucas de Grassi.
On board we go with Nelson Piquet now.
Look at the cambers there. Look at the car leaving the ground through turn 8. Again, this is the point of the track you can actually make something happen and overtake. If you can get them into defensive position, you can compromise the car in front's exit and maybe get them on the next bit. You hear the car bottoming there on the crown of the road.
Into the right, into the left.
First gear there in that chicane. Pretty long gears in the old Formula E car, and some of the tighter chicanes there you have to be in first.
Piquet dropping back a little bit now from Lucas de Grassi. Now it's all about that usable energy on the left-hand side, and really you still need to look after it, but having more than anyone won't really achieve you too much come the end of the race. Sam Bird's got a lot to burn through because he stayed out a lap longer than anyone else, so he's got 77% of usable energy remaining there in 10th place.
Yeah, you don't get a refund if you don't use all that energy, so you've got to get as close to 0 when you cross that checkered flag as you can, and gain as many positions if you can through that.
On board with de Grassi in 4th and Piquet in 5th. As the graphics are the other way around to the pictures, but we've got Piquet on the left-hand side, de Grassi in front of him on the right-hand side, as they swing into the chicane, and again Piquet's closed in a little bit now.
Yeah, he's very good at that first segment of the track, isn't he?
Yeah. Really lobbing it through that chicane. That's fantastic to see. Bird is tucked right up behind Nick Heidfeld in front in the battle over 9th place. All nose to tail as they filter through. They fit out.
Was very wide there out of turn 8.
It could give Bird an opportunity as they come down towards the lake chicanes and disappear under the canopy of trees. Really spectacular place for a race, this, and we've only got 8 laps to go. Buemi it is leading the way, D'Ambrosio in second. This would mean Buemi slashes the gap to championship leader Piquet to just 3 points going into the final race tomorrow. Here's Bird attacking.
Yeah, he's got him defending here. Heidfeld's having to defend, so maybe Sam can make something happen.
Through the long left-hander at Rosary Gate. He's not quite close enough for a move coming down into the chicane. Oh, it takes a lot of curve and a lot of speed, actually, through that chicane. Down towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate. Lock up in front from Lucas de Grassi, and he, in turn, is right up behind Jean-Eric Vergne. Now, Vergne's not in the title fight, but if de Grassi can get past Vergne, he gains more championship points.
Yep, absolutely. Any spot you can make, and any spot you can make, especially on a championship rival, you're going to take.
On board again with Nelson Piquet Jr. Right up to the back of de Grassi. Through the left-hander at Prince Albert. Now out onto the little stretch that takes you towards the first sequence of chicanes. Here we go on board with them.
Watch how quick this next chicane is. Absolutely flat.
Yeah.
The exit curve doesn't even exist. And then car in the air there trying to brake for 8.
And this is where Piquet just starts to drop back a little bit. Doesn't quite have the same momentum he does in the first couple of corners.
And this is where he needs to be there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is where it's all happening. And as we saw before, that pass into 14 that Jean-Eric Vergne did earlier in the race.
Rattling over those curbs.
Sam Bird is right there. Absolutely on the gearbox of Heidfeld.
Sebastian Buemi has a 1-second lead at the front of the field. Jerome D'Ambrosio in second place for the Dragon team. Third is Jean-Eric Vergne, and then it's Vergne, de Grassi and Piquet all in a line over third spot. Sam Bird has just set the fastest middle sector of anyone. Another lockup, I think, from de Grassi as they came down into the Millennium chicane, now down towards the final corner once more. Through goes Buemi, through goes D'Ambrosio, through goes Vergne, through goes de Grassi, through goes Piquet. And Piquet is closer than he's been for a while, coming down the start straight into this first corner. Listen to them coming through. Well, just cut away from it, but really quick turn 1.
Even with those barriers there, turn 1 is still a quick corner.
And de Grassi feels the need to go defensive, and that could give Piquet an opportunity now. Through the left-hander at Prince Albert. It's not quite wide enough to actually get the drive out.
Nelson needs to be careful doing that. If he goes alongside him on the outside, Lucas squeezes him into the wall, it's all over.
Yeah.
He should now. There was a bad move there to put the car in that position. Easy said from the commentary booth. Look how close.
Heidfeld.
And Sam Bird is right with Heidfeld, though. Absolutely with him.
Piquet's using his fan boost now, so we're on board with him, and he's not quite close enough. So that was an odd decision to move it, was he? Looks to the inside, coming into the chicane. De Grassi with a last-minute defensive swerve.
Yeah.
Piquet not quite close enough still.
That's it.
Now into the next chicane. De Grassi still feels the need to go defensive.
The question is, was Nelson turning it up or down on the...
He's going to get a good drive out of here, just like we saw Jean-Eric Vergne do. He's nose to tail.
How brave is he feeling?
Coming down into the Millennium chicane. What's Piquet going to do? Absolutely with his championship rival, de Grassi. The back end gets out. They almost make contact. They both survive. Incredible racing.
Great racing. The defending, though, I mean, what can you do in such a tight circuit when they're defending like that? A little tap might be in order.
Bruno Senna's been given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A real shame for the Brazilian. He was having a great race up in 7th place, but it's all over for him. But the nerves are really kicking off now. The two championship rivals nose to tail, while the other championship rival, Sebastian Buemi, is a second clear up at the front. Super wide, Piquet.
That was wide. I mean, did you see the oversteering moment there? Well held by Piquet. Yeah, these two are squabbling here, and Buemi's running away with all the cash.
Yeah. 5 laps to go. We're on lap 25 of 29 here in London. Through goes Vergne. Through goes de Grassi. Through goes Piquet. Is that Piquet's chance gone now?
Well, he's used that. He's used the fan boost, hasn't he? He's going to have to work bloody hard to get close without the aid of that fan boost, and even just to close that gap now is going to take something.
So this is how it would stand. 3 points clear, Nelson Piquet Jr. would be. Someone using their fan boost out there. 3 points clear of Buemi in second place. De Grassi would be third. 15 points back on Nelson Piquet. And de Grassi's just set the fastest middle sector of any. Look, de Grassi's just disappeared. Look at that. There's de Grassi. There's Piquet.
And he's... maybe they've decided, OK, you've got enough energy to get to the end. Have at it.
Unless they were Well, let's have a look at the unless it all came from here where Piquet made the mistake.
Oh.
Maybe that cost Piquet time.
Time, it nearly cost him the whole championship there. But he lost it on the way in on that one big bump, and he just spent the whole rest of that corner gathering up. A great job by Nelson gathering it up. Bruno Senna's serving his penalty there.
Yep.
Sam Bird is all over the back of Loic Duval here.
This is the battle over 7th position. Sam Bird in the Virgin machine. Coming down into turn 1, listen to this.
Nicely done, Sam.
Yeah, that was a lot of momentum through there for Bird. Not quite close enough to make the move into Prince Albert, though.
And it looks like you could do it. It looks like there's enough room, but unfortunately the cambers and the bumps of the road and everything, it's not a viable move.
Now, de Grassi's just taken the fastest lap away from Sébastien Buemi up at the front. So Lucas de Grassi, and in turn, has closed in on Jean-Eric Vergne. But that means that the gap would be back up to 5 points between Piquet at the top and Buemi in second place, and it would also bring de Grassi just 13 points back, so that would close it up more. Here you can see it. So it would be 5 points up at the top and then 13 points from Piquet in the lead of the championship to de Grassi in third place. So that's important stuff as far as the championship is concerned, but de Grassi could yet make up more positions.
And can Buemi counter with another fastest lap?
Yeah,
because that is well driven there. The move he's made there he's timed it to perfection.
Oh, he's right up behind Jean-Eric Vergne. Vergne in the orange and white Andretti, new livery for this weekend to celebrate their partnership with TE Connectivity. Into the final corner. Lock up from Vergne. De Grassi suddenly has got this speed out of nowhere, and without using any more energy than Nelson Piquet, he's suddenly disappeared on up the road.
In fact, using less, he would say.
Yeah.
He's gone. That's going to be demoralising. I'll tell you. In fact, I know it's demoralising. I've seen it happen to me. It's never a good feeling.
3 laps to go here in London. Sébastien Buemi leads, 1.2 seconds clear of Jerome D'Ambrosio. Here's a look at a replay of Sam Bird going for it on Loic Duval. That's coming into the lake chicanes, and Bird goes through. Good move from the Englishman, and he takes 7th position away.
Great move. Yeah, and he's now done a fastest first sector, Sam. Bit of the red mist there. He had a great race going, and that long pit stop, 5 seconds too long, it put paid to certainly I would say a top 5.
That's Sébastien Buemi and Jerome D'Ambrosio we were just seeing from the helicopter, but Lucas de Grassi is feeling racy. The top 4 all seem to be just closing in a little bit. Only 3 seconds between the top 4 as they flash through the long left-hander of 13.
D'Ambrosio's looking good with 28% usable power left. But I think Buemi's got it in hand here. He's driven a beautiful race so far. Yep.
The only thing that is going against him is that he hasn't got the fastest lap of the race at the moment. He's coming through now to start his penultimate tour of this 2.9 kilometre Battersea Park circuit.
That's a tough one. Do you risk everything now and go for those extra 2 points while leading the race? Do you just lay it all on the line to try and get those extra 2 points, which could make the difference tomorrow with the championship? What are you going to do? Are you feeling brave?
I'm not. I'm petrified. I don't know what's going to happen in this final conclusion of the FIA Formula E Championship season. Buemi leading the way, 1.1 seconds clear, but the same can be said of de Grassi. How worth it is it to attack Jean-Eric Vergne?
Yeah. The thing with Jean-Eric Vergne is he gets close, and he's got to have a sure thing. I don't think Lucas is going to risk it on a 50-50 move. I just don't see it.
Into the right-left. Vergne takes a lot of speed in, really flicks the car up on the exit. This is in the lake chicanes at the moment. That's Jean-Eric Vergne up in front.
Lucas has gapped Nelson Piquet 5 seconds.
Yeah. I don't know where that's come from.
Yeah.
It's very unusual.
That safety car.
Well, I mean, Piquet pretty much got past and was side by side at certain points, and then it all disappeared, and just that one mistake, unless he picked up damage at that first turn or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Very possible.
But it's Buemi leading the way. There's the Dragon Racing team.
Tidy Buemi's keeping it. You can see Jay Penske, he wants this thing over. They want a result today. They want another podium.
Final lap, and Jerome D'Ambrosio has 5% more usable energy. Through they come then, Buemi, D'Ambrosio, Verne de Grassi. Then look at Sam Bird, right up behind Nelson Piquet with a lot more usable energy. 20% compared to the 9% of Piquet. So Bird could be on for a 5th place if he can find a move past on this final lap.
And you want to talk about somebody with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Is Sam. Sam's had a season that's flattered to deceive every time and had all these things go wrong. This could definitely put a smile on his face here if he can get this move. And it's the last thing in the world that Nelson Piquet needs right now.
But this is also about to wrap up the championship for e.dams as far as the Constructors' title is concerned. They're going to take a victory here, which will wrap up the team's title in the first year of Formula E. We're going to crown our first champions here today, but it won't be the Drivers' champion. Lucas de Grassi is right up behind Jean-Eric Verne now as they come down towards the Lake Chicanes. But Buemi it is, comfortably in control of this race at the moment. And he's only got a couple of corners left to go. It's going to bring the title fight right back in, and it's going to close everything up going towards the Formula E finale. Sebastian Buemi comes down towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate. He's about to win his 3rd Formula E race and bring himself right back into the title fight. Buemi crosses the line and wins in London. One more race to go, and he is right in the championship fight. e.dams win the team title.
On a fait ce qu'il fallait. Nickel.
Further back, D'Ambrosio 2nd, Verne 3rd. Piquet just held off Sam Bird at the line by just 0.3 of a second. Prost in 7th, Duval, Turvey up into 9th in the end, and Stefan Sarazan completing the top 10. Buemi didn't take the fastest lap of the race, but all that means our top 3 drivers going into the title decider tomorrow are going to be separated by 13 points.
Between the 3.
Yeah. Happy days. Now let's hear from Alain Prost, the man who created this e.dams team along with Jean-Paul Triot. He's with Nicky.
Alain Prost, what a way to finish the first day of this doubleheader here in London. Congratulations.
Exactly what...
I know you're very happy, congratulating the rest of your team, which is always a good sign.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It's fantastic. You know, you can see. You know, we had in fact a difficult season and dominating a little bit, but it's good for this double event. It's fantastic. You know, we keep the motivation for tomorrow. We win the championship, constructor championship today. Sebastian and Nicolas have done a very good job. The team has done a very good job since.
What did you mention?
No, it's good. It's really exactly what we wanted to do. We're a bit lucky than Luca and Nelson are a little bit behind, so it's very open for tomorrow. You know, I think it should be around 3 or 5 points difference, depending of the lap record. But what is good is exactly what I wanted to have when I was racing Formula One. Try to be in position to still win a championship at the last race, because that's where you keep the motivation. So we are very happy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for a brilliant race. Well done.
Great to hear from Alain Prost, and what a line that was. It's been a difficult season, but we've dominated.
As a team they have, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been absolutely superb.
From when we showed up in Donington for the early tests, they just looked like they had it. They knew what they were doing. Both drivers consistently scored points. Both drivers won races. And that's the strength that's given them the team's championship. And they're still in contention with that man there, Buemi, for the Drivers' Championship tomorrow. And
maybe even after the performances of today, would you put them as favourites? Because I'm okay, they're not leading the championship, but based on today, can Piquet stop Buemi?
You would, and de Grassi smashed it with the fastest lap, 6/10 up the road.
e.dams are the only team to have had both drivers take a victory.
Actually, correction, Bruno Senna was within 0.3.
Okay, good lap from Bruno Senna then in the Mahindra.
Yep.
In pulls Sebastian Buemi into Parc Fermé. The Swiss driver becomes the most winning in Formula E. His 3rd win of this campaign. He won in Uruguay at Punta del Este. He won at Monaco. And now he wins in London, in the capital of the United Kingdom. And that really brings him into championship contention. I mean, genuinely, today couldn't have gone any better in terms of setting it up for a championship finale.
No, he nailed it. And it's not only the positive effect on e.dams and Buemi, it's the negative effect on the competition. You can't say too much about that and how that's affected them. This morning we were almost giving Nelson the championship trophy. I certainly was. And he just nailed it.
Jean-Eric Verne with a third place finish. And that was only his second podium of the season, astonishingly. He's had 3 pole positions, and that's only his second podium. Jerome D'Ambrosio with a little comedy fall on his way away from the weighbridge. Good drive from D'Ambrosio.
Yeah, it was just nailed it. Didn't do anything super spectacular in any way, you know, good or bad, and you know, had a great day there. He's got to be happy with that. The Dragon team, I'm sure, are happy as well. It's good to see him get another good result.
Yeah, they kind of not lost their way in the middle of the season, but kind of South America, they weren't quite running up towards the front as well as they were earlier on. So now we can hear from Jean-Eric Verne, and he has finished in third place in this race. As I say, only his second podium of the season so far, and that is going to launch him up into the battle over 6th position. Just to cross the I's and dot the T's, Nico Prost and Jerome D'Ambrosio are now out of the running for the title. It's all about those 3, Piquet, Di Grassi and Buemi, a 3-way fight for the first ever Formula E title. You can see the spectacular Battersea Park, and what a race this has been. Here's a look at the classifications. Sebastian Buemi just less than a second quicker than Jerome D'Ambrosio in second place. Jean-Eric Verne completing the top 3. Lucas Di Grassi in 4th, and then look how close it was for 5th place. Good drive from Sam Bird, actually, to finish in 6th position just behind Nelson Piquet Jr. That'll give him confidence going forward to the race tomorrow. Nico Prost in 7th position. Loic Duval finishing in 8th place. And that's a good performance from Duval. Then we had Oliver Turvey in 9th and 10th place for Stefan Sarrazin. Didn't see much of Simona de Silvestro, but she ended up finishing in 11th position. We've got Salvador Duran actually on the graphics in 11th position. Simona de Silvestro in 12th. Karun Chandok there in 13th position. So not quite, we might have had a problem with Salvador Duran's transponder because he's a little bit all over the shop, but not a good race for Fabio Lima. He needs to get used to the car a little bit. Bruno Senna was given a drive-through penalty, but still had good pace. Fontana, Abt and Yamamoto retired. Here's a look at how it affects the Drivers' Championship. 5 points between Piquet and Buemi at the top of the standings, and then Di Grassi is just 13 points behind, and there are 30 points on offer tomorrow. So it's really tight. That's all I can say. It's really tight. Jerome D'Ambrosio, Nico Prost out of the running. Verne now only 6 points behind Sam Bird in the battle over 6th place in the championship standings. Abt and Heidfeld completing the top 10. No points again for Bruno Senna today. Loic Duval with his 8th place finish means he climbs up to 20.